Hello and welcome to this video all about backtesting lies. I'm going to demonstrate something that you really need to pay attention to when you're backtesting a strategy so that you don't get tricked or conned like I did. So first of all, for those of you who don't know, what is backtesting? Well, backtesting is looking at the rules of a trading strategy. You need fixed rules to enter and exit the market and then applying them to that past data or back data. So looking at how the strategy performed in the past. Now, there's various arguments about how much data you need. Some people say you need like 1 year or 5 years. Other people will say you need 100 trades. Now, that 100 trades, if you're only taking 10 trades a year, that's going to be 10 years worth of data. Or if you're day trading or you're scalping and you're in and out really quickly, it could be a couple of weeks. So it's not particularly clear. Me personally, when I'm backtesting and developing strategies, I go back to 2008. I'm going to demonstrate how these important factors of backtesting might affect your trading strategy. And I'm going to do that by looking on the screen at a couple of charts using just one particular trading strategy. And hopefully going to keep it short and sweet and just so that you don't make the same mistake that I did years ago when I bought a trading strategy. Predominantly, we will be looking just at the equity curve of the strategy to see how our account may have grown or not grown over the years. But there's much more to backtesting than just the equity curve. There's other factors, but just for now, this video, we want to be just looking at the equity curve. That's certainly the starting point to any backtest. Okay, we're looking at the charts now, and what you can see is 3 separate charts of pound yen. Okay, now each one of these charts has the same strategy on it, and I'm going to show you the equity curve of each one and then explain. So first, let's look at this top one, and this is the equity curve, the performance report. Down the bottom is just the number of trades, and up the left hand side is how much money or how the account grew. And the little green dots mark new highs in the equity. Okay, so you don't need to know that. Just by glancing at that, that looks like a particularly nice equity curve, doesn't it? And sample size, we've got quite a lot. We've got about 80 trades there, so decent sample size, and everything looks pretty good. And if we have a look at what sort of data range this was, if we go to the start of the chart, this was from January 2019 through till October 2020. So there's almost 2 years worth of data. So pretty good. If I was to give that to you, would you carry on trading it? I think you probably would. I think I probably would if I didn't know any better. So that's from the start of 2019. Let's look at the other chart, the next chart. Here's the next chart. What a different picture that looks like. So that is pretty horrible. Look at the starting date of this. The starting date of this is around 2008, January 2008, and it goes right up to the end of 2018. So essentially what this is about 10 years worth of data just before we saw that last equity curve. That last equity curve looked really good, and then this is what the strategy looked like before. And if we look at the next chart, where I've included all the data. So this part here, just at the right hand side, this is what we saw in that first chart, and it looked really good. Now, zooming out a bit, looking at a bigger data set, a bigger data range, what do you think of it now? Is it something that you would want to trade? It's not something that I would want to trade. It looks pretty horrible to me. And we can look. We've got good periods here, bad period here, little good period here. The thing is, it's really choppy. And over about 12, 13 years, it just is really, really choppy. And it's not something that's made consistent profits. So why am I showing you this? I'm demonstrating that you really do need to see a big picture, and you need to see a big data range. I mean, there's possibility that this latest upspurt of this strategy will carry on, but going by the past data, I don't think so. So you really do need to take a good look at the whole data range so you can make a proper analysis. And if we look, we've got probably 550 trades there. If you want to see an equity curve that does look reasonable, it's a real strategy. There's one here. I actually done a video explaining this, and I'll leave the link to that. And I'll actually leave the link to get the instructions so you can trade this strategy. This is a strategy that I put together, and again, this is well over 500 trades, and of course, this is going back to 2008, the start of 2008, right through till until the current period. So that's a decent strategy. If you want that one, links will be below somewhere for that. So the point of the video is all strategies, even bad ones, have good periods. So good periods, bad periods, and I like to trade strategies that have made just consistently growing over time. Now, I mentioned in the start of the video that I got tricked, or I got conned years ago, before I was able to actually program my own trading strategies. I bought a strategy off a guy on YouTube, I'm not going to mention any names, and I bought the strategy and it looked pretty good. And then I actually started manually backtesting it, and I went back probably a year or so and it looked okay, and I started trading it and I was actually losing money on that strategy. So a little while later, when I started to learn how to program strategies into Multicharts, I found it really, really interesting to take the rules of this strategy that I'd purchased and actually run it through an extensive backtest. Using the computer, we can go back years in a matter of seconds, not like back in the day when I was doing it all by hand. And I ran this strategy and it looked pretty much like one of the charts I showed you. The past year or so, up until I bought the strategy, it was a pretty uptrending equity curve. Before that, it was horrible, and even after that, after I bought it, it was horrible. Now, my guess is the guy was probably just being lazy. I don't think he was out to con anyone or have anyone over. I think he was just being lazy. I know that he doesn't know how to program, and he would have manually tried these trades, manually backtest, and probably thought, oh yeah, it's worked really well over the last year, over the last, I don't know, 100 trades, 150 trades. This is obviously a working strategy. Little did he know. And since I was able to program it, look at the big picture, then yeah, it was just a good period that he tested amongst a bad strategy. So be careful. Again, like I always say, you need to test everything thoroughly before you trade it. So I hope that's been helpful. Like I said, if you want a decent strategy that works, I'll put the link for that down in the description below. And if you like this video, if you found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And until the next video, this is Jared Goodwin, and thank you.